going
We got the
on
Ganja Solutions banner. Do you know something that was kind of cool? While we were off site, right, we ordered this banner that we wanted to have for the event, and I didn't get it in on time. You know, so lo and behold, it's an hour late. But here it is on the back board, and it looks super.
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks super, and it's a seed series, and it's Dos Perros, Bohdi, Coastal, and Equilibrium. It's, as usual, man, we're being sponsored by Shape and Fire. I'm Kev from Wonderland Nursery. We'd like to thank Shanko Lass for sponsoring the show. And we'd like to thank Dennis from Ganja Solutions for helping us out. And so this is my partner, Brett. And I meet Brett years ago, and I'll just tell a quick story. So I meet him at an event, and he's just a real head. And head to me was the word from back in the day where you were really about weed. And so I meet this guy, and I don't know who he is from anybody. And we just start talking. And all of a sudden, he reaches in his pocket, and he pulls out a bunch of these packs of Bodhi Seeds. And he goes, these are some seeds I had that you should have too. And it was just such a kind gesture because there was no business occurring, and it wasn't about, it was just, you know, cannabis stuff. And so I said, wow, that's hella nice. And so, you know, I flash forward into the future, and I find out that he's the founder of the Cali Dep Fest, which is a light dep competition in Santa Cruz. And I was just like, damn, this guy's, you know, old school, trying to do some really neat stuff in his area. And then I discovered, hey, he's also Dos Perros the breeder. And then I discovered that he's also a seed rep for other companies, and he reps Bodhi. And it's just, it's been a pleasure to have him as a friend, because every time I see him, I'm getting an appreciation from someone who's a craftsman for, you know, decades. Somebody who's been in the California, Santa Cruz area and has been exposed to a lot of other really high-level people. So his views on stuff are different than mine from Southern Humboldt, where I was so fortunate to be influenced by some of the masters of my region. He was also influenced by masters of his, and so it allows us to have some really neat conversations, and I'm so happy that I get to have him here today to be on, and we're going to talk about stuff that he's working on and things that's chopping up in his life, and then he's also going to chop up some stuff with Bodhi, and we'll go from there. So with no more intro, Brett.
Yeah, it's really an honor to get to be here and get to hang out at Wonderland Nursery and get to represent, you know, with all these great breeders coming out of Santa Cruz, and be here amongst, you know, some of the best growers in the world out of Humboldt County. It's always been one of my favorite spots to come for anything cannabis related, because it really is, you know, the spot where a lot of what's made it so great here in America took place and took root. And so there's a lot of experience, there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of love for cannabis here.
Yeah.
Way beyond the new kind of paradigm where we're at, where it's a, you know,
yeah,
the industrial
truly.
cannabis industry. This is kind of like the heart and soul of cannabis. So it's really always a pleasure to be here, and it's just amazing to see what good hard work you guys do and the amazing genetics you guys are pumping out. It's really an honor to be here and be part of it all. So I thank you for that, and I thank all the sponsors you had mentioned earlier for, you know, helping create this really amazing opportunity.
Well, you know, it was a conversation that he and I had about trying to get, and this is the truth, is that a lot of these things about why we wanted to put these together was from conversations that you and had just talking about industry situations, and with the changes in the laws and the lack of accessibility to breeders, he had said, you know, it'd be cool if we could get people to get together in these capacity. And so he said, hey, you know, I got a crew from Santa Cruz, and I realized that I knew them all. He introduced me to Jason from Equilibrium, but I already knew BAM, and I was already involved with Bodhi in terms of purchasing genetics and using them for years because of my own desires. And so all of a sudden I realized that this was really a Santa Cruz group. And so if you kind of take a look at the seed series, a lot of it is regional, where what we're doing is we're getting crews of people from what we consider really cannabis-producing regions. People that have histories of doing the work and have skill sets that work with it, and you get to have this combined piece. And so that's why really everybody's from Santa Cruz today, is because he and I had spoke, and I said, hey, let's get this first, and then we're going to have the people from all our surrounding areas come forward next. But it is, you know, Santa Cruz has got such a history. What made you start Dos Perros Seeds? Like what drives you on your deal?
You know, Dos Perros Seeds is kind of, you know, it was one of those necessity things. Make your own seeds, you know. Genetics weren't handed out as liberally as they are today, and the people I knew who had quality genetics, you know, would try and preserve them beyond just clone form. So you made seed and you kept your seed, and then just love of gardening, which kind of comes hand in hand once you start trying to grow your cannabis. You realize, oh wow, this is a whole nother relationship you get yourself involved in, and then you get involved with making seeds and growing your own seed, and that pride of owner. I mean, it's like being a parent almost. You know, it's got that relationship power where it's healing. That's you see the veterans speak of it all the time. Our local group, especially, I've heard several people say that growing plants, you know, that relationship they get to form. Yeah, it's really peaceful. It's really calming. It's really gives you this relationship that's unparalleled. I joke about it a lot, that when you bury that seed, that you now are worried about. You've got this relationship as soon as it's buried, and as it grows up, it's something you're tending to, and so that pride of ownership that comes with that, and then making your seed, and then growing them, and then sharing them, and then it was a slow, long process. And what I'd like to do is work with my friends in our community. So it's not necessarily just me and my seeds, but it's the seeds that we like and that we approve and that we think
so you can tap into a bigger pool.
It's a bigger pool because, you know, in all truth, you talk about, I know there's been a lot of talk I've seen on social media about, oh, pollen chucker or this or that, or, you know, all these different things that are going on with seed making. And it's, you know, seed making's super important, and it's a key part of the whole process. And so having your groups make seeds and not being able to really, I lost my train of thought for a second. Going big, it's a little nerve-wracking being here. And,
it's all right. But it's important though, because it's what drives you though, man. It's what keeps you on point, because like I said, I respect you, and I mean, I hang out with a lot of really sharp people. And so, I mean, you know, when you and I are talking about some specific details, baby, you laser like on your focus.
I'm not professionally educated, but a lot of the cannabis breeding's been done by not professionally educated, and then the interest gets sparked, and then you get educated and you educate yourself, and hands-on experience to me is the ultimate value. One of the points I was bringing up is that with the smaller groups, we can't open up like any normal breeder. Oh, we've got this plant that, let's see, it doesn't kill anyone. It's got cancer killing properties. It's super healing on so many levels. It's got a ton of variables that it is good for. If we can figure out the carbon footprint of production on it and learn about it and open up on it, we could go tons of places with this plant. It's super valuable to us. That said, we can't even breed with it. We can't open up massive pools of plants without putting people at risk. So a lot of this breeding needs to be done in a sort of teamwork fashion where, oh, cool, you're looking at these. Well, we'll look at the and then that feedback amongst the peers is super valuable too, because it's kind of, you know, the work is to support the community that it's in. So I think there's some importance there, and I think that's the big value of getting to come down here and get face to face with the farmers. And
we wanted,
and it was super valuable to hear what people are looking for and try and help them and understand that. And my favorite one today was, I'm like, so do you want terps? Do you want colors? Do you want bag appeal? Do you want effects? Do you want resilience? And they were like, yeah. I was like, oh, that was kind of like that wasn't there was no E. There was no E, all of the above. But it was fun, you know, and it's really, it was really a great experience getting to share that time with everyone and see the motivation, because I think a lot of the seed poppers really get to understand that kind of esoteric relationship of burying the seed and the value of growing your own seed and selecting like that. And then the fun part is you get to learn, the boys and girls, you get to learn, you can maybe make your own seed. You know, and there's a big value in that when you're a farmer.
It lets you tap in. But what I wanted to have happen here, hopefully, was that you have people who wanted to be farmers who don't want to be breeders. But what they want to do is they want to work with breeders, so they have an ability to work with someone who can work with them at what their farming conditions are, directed towards the market they've established that fits in alignment with their current brand. And then that way, these breeders and these farmers can form their own relationships in terms of relationship, meaning what's the direction I'm trying to go, and the breeder then can say, hey, these are the things that I see. This is how I see the market. The farmer can say, these are the things that I need, and together you really form these partnerships. So this way, you're able to evolve with the evolving market traits and desires as we move forward. And so for me, I work with a lot of breeders in that sense, where I try to keep a good relationship with people so that this way I can go through gene populations that you come out with that have attraction. I can find something, I can then give it to the market in clonal form to make it simple, but it brings awareness to the line for the breeder. Now people can go through that line and say, hey, let me find the phenotype that works for me in my specific situation. And I really hope that we get to see some of the breeders work with some of these farmers, for 5 to 10 years, and then you'll start to see, a couple true lines come off of these farms.
The potentials.
Because
the potential of not hiding that knowledge and not having to limit that knowledge and letting the people share that knowledge and gain from it will snowball, which will increase our potential on a global market in the future. I think it's, high time we look at this as a basic economic opportunity that's massive for our state and for our country, and that, everyone kind of, and getting that relationship with the farmer and the breeder will help encourage that strength to speak out towards giving us a, fair shot at really doing what the potential is. By using our resources, we haven't tapped the resources and the potential. But I was speaking the other day, it's amazing. We've got strawberries, bananas.
Yeah. Oh, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a question. What do you got?
It says, when making your own seeds, what do you keep in mind? What's your process for making your own seeds? That's what the question is, making your own seeds.
That's a good question. I wonder if they're talking about like the mechanical process, like the actual making the things do the thing, or what are you looking for mentally? That's a good question. I'll take that. When you start your season to make seed each season, what's the thing you're thinking of first? Is it like, is there something that drove you, like, I'm interested in citrus this year. Or I'm interested in a neat varietal that has a unique type of high, but balanced in this. What
it's like narrowing down what to choose from because you're limited. Not to harp on a point, but what's the most? It's a pyramid. You stack them all up. You're like, I'd love to look at these and these and these. So it's usually a couple favorites from the years past. Mm-hmm. It's something that seems like the future. There's those fun hunts that you wanted to do. So those are the stack up of kind of like what I personally am interested in. What's the market interested in? So I would say it's like, hey, I want to look at some CBD lines or the 1-to-1 lines now, and terpene rich rosin super popular, or concentrates, and so I need to work on something with concentrates. Okay, and I was just saying strawberries, lemons, bananas, oranges. There's chocolates, there's cherries, there's pineapples, and then there's the ones that I call where it's just like over-the-top cannabis terpenes, where you can't even really put a root beer. I didn't bring, I'm excited to try some root beer. I was like, that reminds me of Durbin. He's like, it's that anise, licorice.
But it has a sarsaparilla-like linger to it. It's that root beer line they worked on really does have a root beer tone. I got seed stock.
It's got a creamy or something to it,
I think, the Southern Humboldt concentrate boys, they did a nice sift on it a couple years back. Brucey, and he pulled out a savage root beer pheno, and so Gene had hooked me up with seed stock, and I still got it in the fridge.
So it's like pulling out some of those refrigerated stock. Oh, what am I gonna do? What got my
soda
eye, or what was exciting, and what do I think is funny and cool? Like, the lemon's so popular, maybe I need to go lemon, and I've kind of chased that.
All right, we got another question. Shoot.
It says, it says, I understand you rep Bodhi Seeds. What do you love about Bodhi Seeds?
Everything.
You know what though?
That was an easy one.
Totally. He's
so far. Let's try and give him on.
He's the rep of them, but I'm somebody who got a hold of them to carry the seeds because I run his stock for years. What I like about Bodhi is that Bodhi picks good males. And he takes males that have either traits that are going to allow something to shine through or something that's going to not shine through. And he puts it in with interesting cultivars that they call elites, things that are considered to be very specific cultivated varieties. And I run through these lines and I sift out specific cultivars for breeders, extractors. And I've been sifting through Bodhi stock for years. And so I just, as somebody who sifts through his work, I really respect his male selection. And he has a unique situation where very few people will actually release an F1 of what he's tapping. He's touching genes that are really hard to get in terms of elite lines, cuttings that are very exceptional, that if you use it, it's worth a lot of money. Typically, you don't get a hold of it on an F1 like that, and he's putting males that have very set traits into it. And so I go through huge populations. So like there's a Goldstar cut right now that I pulled out that I gave you that's floating around that's killing it on the extract market because it's just pure kerosene. But it had a workability in all forms, too, where it was truly a farmer's friend and extraction friend.
Let's check in.
Oh, Bodhi's here, man.
Bodhi, are
Bottom
you
line
here?
is this guy's raw.
Hey, say, we're trying to get the volume thing sorted. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Hey, do me one favor, 1 second. You talk right there, I'll be right back.
All right.
We can't hear him very good. That's the best speaker we got, huh?
Yeah, I think this is... Yeah, I got you on speakerphone, so...
Isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, it's not so loud.
There we go. I turned the compost tea brewer off for a second. Hope I don't
All
kill
right.
him. Let's not try to kill the microbes.
Quieting our background noise. So we've had a lot of folks running through and everyone's super excited. And, you know, I would say the most common question I heard from folks is what's a strong, fuely, gassy kind of faster strains from you? And the recommendation from a lot of folks standing around say 88 hash plant. What is your thought?
I did the HollyWeed off of him. I did a really big HollyWeed sift last year where I went through a whole bunch of your 88 G13 lines, the triangles and the HollyWeed, and we ended up pulling a pheno of the HollyWeed we have at the shop that had zero fungal contamination at all. I mean, it was completely resistant on PM ambitrytis, like through the full rain, no help. So, yeah, for real, it was unique. I mean, I go through big populations of your work because it makes it easy because you do some very stable stuff in terms of your males stamp a very specific trait, and then it's just trying to find all the other characteristics that will work on a farm end. So I run these big populations, and the Goldstar was a big population, and then the 88 G13 hash plant into the HollyWeed. And I was hoping some of the TKs because they had such gorgeous tones, but we ran a bunch of your Wookie hybrids that were just off the hook. The 88s into the Cookie were all fungally resistant. Man, you got that 88 line is killer for SoHum outdoor. 1st of October finish, turns into a round ball outside. Completely took the winds and the rain. We had freak weather this year, so if you ever wanted a sifting year for stock that could take fungal and beating, the 88 G13 is superlative. You just got to find the one that takes the fungal. But man, you killed it on that one.
And then the popular question is what to look for from Narika or the supernatural selections.
Okay, well, I mean, the supernatural selections has kind of had a soft opening. It's just been kind of letting out the extra tester packs from the lines that kind of made the cut.
Right.
And then I'm going to do a bigger pollination of like the dread bread and the kind of Afghani sativa combinations in the next couple months. And then maybe some smaller stuff in tents if I can. And then Narika's just... I think I'm going to run through all of the Himalayan stuff I collected. I think I collected 24 lines from the Himalayas when I was out there through different years. And I don't want those getting older, so I think I'm going to try and reproduce everything I can from the Himalayas and just get it out there. And then all the collections I did in India, too. So I'm trying to just get all the stuff that getting old, and I want people to be able to work with and enjoy and just get them out, you know, just get them out there, because so many times people's seed stock just goes bad, or something happens, or they get busted, or grandma, you know, throws it out of the freezer. Or,
Yeah, not for real. It's the one that got away. We all of us have been doing this career. We've lost all full operations to raid and rest and armed robberies and I mean, I've been growing for 38 years. I've lost more killer plants than I hold right now. The stuff I hold now is nice, but the stuff we used to hold was really nice.
It's something that really needs to be addressed. Like, people need to talk to their dad's hippie friend and their, the grandma that used to smoke. Like, everybody, now's the time to, like, really put out and reach out to everyone to get those seeds from wherever they are and try and get them back, refreshed and back into the population. Because, we're at a crux. We're at just a place right now where, it's not going to happen if we don't do it now.
Totally, yeah, because it's the same thing we're trying to do in a lot of open source. I work with Philos, stamping all my stuff so that this way there shows a precedence that these cultivars were in existence, so that an oligarchy can't come in and grab it and say, hey, you guys have to pay us a royalty on this line, where it's just you have a form of piracy about to occur, and so we're trying to use technology to protect us. But to me, I've always tried to get as much gene into the population as possible, and people never understood why, but I just figured that if I flooded the market since I was a kid with high-end reefer, then at any point I needed to get high-end reefer, it would be there. And it kind of worked, you know what I mean? Yeah, for real. I'm basically a smoker first. And so, that's how it starts, right? And so I'm still a smoker. And it allows me, to do that same thing. And it's why it's cool because, I never get to meet you in person, but, I respect your work. And Brett's just a savage to me. And the Jason and Boo and Kanguti, the Santa Cruz guys, you guys have been laying it down for years. And so it's neat that crew from Humboldt gets to hang out with the crew from Santa Cruz. And we're grateful for the opportunity to mess around with you guys, like, for real. You boys are real, man, and some of the gene work you're doing is stunning, and it's awesome because we get to execute it on our farms out here, and it allows us to have maybe the potential to really have a competitive chance as a craft market.
I got one more for you, Bodhi. The dragon's blood. Lots of people are so excited about it, and my best descriptions, it's old Hawaiian sativa. Can you elaborate?
I can elaborate. So, the line was from a friend that I got it from an online friend that he created the line back, I think, in '94 in Hawaii from. I think it was I should go look back, but it was an old Hawaiian hash plant and something else. And he made it, the line, and he grew it, I think it was '94, and then he refreshed it again, I think, like 5 or 6 years ago, and he sent me some seeds. And I went through maybe like 25 of them, and they're really unique and really beautiful, and I was really impressed. But one specific plant, had blood red, and I was like, oh wow, that's wild. I almost called it. It wasn't the most special one out of a lot, but this is really amazing. I've only seen this a couple times, and then I remembered that Hawaii has an old plant there, cultivar called blood sativa that was supposedly an old Colombian that acclimatized in Hawaii in the 70s or 80s. So I thought it maybe it was cross contamination, or maybe deep down in its lineage, some kind of recessive genetics, or somewhere it got weaved into the line, and I just took that and I just worked with it 4 or 5 generations to try and dial in the aroma, the high, and then, but most importantly, that blood trait, so that I could use it in future things to almost make a genetic marker. So, like, if I want to make an OG that has red sap, it's like then I can identify that, or I can, introduce some kind of really visible, unique trait into something. It's like it opens up a really unique avenue for future exploration and identification. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. And the newest versions have, I think, the F4, so there should be a lot more blood traits in those.
We got a question for you. What do you got?
It's on the internet. It says, is there any more
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, I've grown that one.
Yeah, amazing, beautiful plant from Mr. Dank. I lost the mom, and I don't know if anyone else has it. I know that there's some S1s of it, and I know in Colorado there's a really amazing S1 that they use, but I have a few hybrids left, but that's about it. And that was probably one of my favorites after Candy. It was such an amazing plant. We just kind of hit it on every level.
I think I have some seed left of it, because a lot of times it's weird, but like, you know how it is when you're a seed freak, if someone ever went in and actually saw how much shit I got saved, they'd wonder why. But I have some packs of it, I think, loaded up still, because the terps in it was so unique that with the concentrate stuff now, stuff like that's just priceless.
So I wonder maybe you have some of the S1s. I think originally it was from Kansas in the 80s, and they went to, someone brought back a big stash of seeds, and they went to thousands of seeds, and that was the clone they kept.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, big sift, yeah. Especially, and it was fungally resistant too. That's what I mean. It didn't have any fungal issues, and it's funny because if you did a sift in Kansas, you'd have that because of humidity.
Yeah. Cornfield grown.
There's so much cool, amazing, beautiful
Okay.
genetics. It's like people, but there's such an expanse of unique and special plants that we can, get to know and be a part of it. I mean, it just boggles my mind every day, and I just think to wake up and just to be able to be part of this experience that we're all having together.
Yeah.
Such a good, so.
Yeah, no, it's
an honor to have
Yeah.
have you doing your work, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, you do beautiful work, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. But like I said, I've been digging through your lines for years, so I don't have to know you in this way. I actually know you because I dig through your lines, and I mean, I'm digging. Like, I'm somebody that digs through populations, and I always buy stock of yours and save it just because I know that when I get some free time, I can dig through and find some really cool stuff, because I hold most of the cultivars you pollinate into. And so it lets me see the work differently, because once I can see a stable male that you're using into these things, it lets me see the genes come out. Yeah. And then I understand better what we're working with on a bigger picture. And I'm not a breeder, I'm a reproducer preserver. So I'm not trying to create lines as much as I'm trying to save genetics in form. And then because of what I do as a nursery provider, if I can have as much information about the plant in all ways, it just makes me better at what I do. So I use you more than anybody because the male stability allows me to tap in for that purpose. I use other breeders for other purposes, but I run through your stock to find production cultivars that are going to work, because it lets me do a broad sift and actually be able to neck down what I want to do. So, like I said, man, it's a pleasure to have you on what we're doing today. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank Shape and Fire for sponsoring us, man. Shango Las, this was a great day.
Thanks, guys.
And Dennis Park with Gangier Solutions for giving us guidance and direction. I want to thank all the guys from Santa Cruz and Brett from Dos Perros. And Bodhi, you're on the phone, but man, we're grateful you were here. Maybe someday, if you ever want to come to Humboldt County, man, we'd love to see you, and we'd love to maybe see you in Santa Cruz in person too.
Yeah, you're always welcome here. Thank you for having me on, and I'm so glad and happy these things are happening, that people are getting together and really bringing their heart and their minds and making a special future.
Oh man, it's the culture that drives it. That's all we got. We're not gonna give us much. We're only gonna get a little bit, but I'm okay with that part. That's the part I always wanted, was this. And so the truth be told is they're forcing us to do what we need to do. So thank you so much. And like I said, I want to say one more time to Shango Las and Shape and Fire, thank you so much. And Wonderland Seed Series is our first series. We went down a couple issues, my fault. But nonetheless, thank you for participating, and I hope you got some content out of it. It'll all be written up on the Gangier. You'll be able to pull up all these interviews and get all this information. We had all kinds of interview work done privately off screen. So this way all these breeders could be able to really share what they got. The whole point of this is we want these guys to be able to access farmers direct in terms of concept. And we hope we succeeded.
All right.
And so thank you very much.
Appreciate it.